Hello Wolfpack, we've had the breakdown on Bitcoin. Very important time in the market here because we had this range, this horizontal consolidation range between 32.6k and 28.6k, and we've actually just lost that, right? And that's a very, very major move because we've been consolidating this range for about just over a month. And then on top of that, it's also the range we've been holding since 2021, early 2021 in this January region throughout the entirety of May to July. If you guys remember that correction, that was the range we were holding. And so this move, this daily candle close below 28.6k is actually very, very significant, in the sense that we've just lost the entire bull market structure, right? The entire bull market structure that we held throughout 2021 is gone, right? Big, big move. Right, and there is evidence to suggest that move is more than a fake out as well, because some people would say, well, it's only one daily candle close, and we have seen wicks below it before, so it could be a fake out. And yeah, I suppose they could be correct, and that's why for those people who are ultra conservative, optimistic in the state of Bitcoin, what you need to be doing, in my opinion, is waiting for the weekly candle close. Now, if you look at me and you ask me what that weekly candle close looks like at this point in time, it's got 24 hours until it closes. It looks like a terrible candle, right? Strong wick to the upside, big red candle body, doesn't look very good. But let's just say this, right? Let's just clear it all up, clear the air. If we close the weekly candle below 28.6, that is absolute confirmation of the breakdown. It's very, very, very rare that you see a fake out on a weekly candle close. Daily candles, does happen, maybe 20% chance, but most likely the breakdown is confirmed at this point, and we need to be putting our heads forward and seeing what's going to happen next. And that's what we're going to discuss in this video. We're also going to discuss the 4-year cycle theory, and the fact that the 4-year cycle predicts a November bottom. And it seems as though we might be reaching a 200-week SMA before November. And so maybe that changes that up a little bit. Who knows? I'll explain that all in just a second. But before I get into the video, I want to talk about the VIP membership. Now, if you go to my YouTube channel and you click the join button, you'll bring up the VIP tab. We've just added in a new loyalty badge. So that's a badge you'll have next to your name. Emojis you can use. You've got a wolf, a bull, a bear, Bitcoin. Makes perfect sense. Exclusive Altcoin Trading Signals, Prioritized Reply to Comments, 2-hour video on market psychology, the most helpful video I've ever made in my personal opinion, and weekly access to the newsletter instead of monthly access from the free members on the channel. I do want to quickly go over some trades we've made, right? For example, Sand, we made 16% profit in just about 5 days there utilizing this drop. And then Atom as well, we made 29% profit utilizing this drop in just about 2 weeks. 2 trades that have come through that have worked quite nicely with very, very little risk there from the VIPs. So congratulations to the people who took those trades. And if you guys haven't taken those trades because you're not part of the VIP group chat, maybe consider joining up to you guys though. At the end of the day, I'm always going to be here on Bitcoin giving you the free analysis. So without further ado, let's jump into it a bit more. And actually, let's go back to the chart we were just on because we're on the Coinbase chart there. On Bitcoin. And what I want to look at really is the fact that, well, yeah, we've lost this major horizontal consolidation region, which is a major move. We've also started working our way down the mountain on the VVPR. And some people would say, well, what does that even mean, right? They don't even know what the VVPR is. Well, the VVPR, the volume profile, visible range volume profile, it's actually VRVP, not VVPR, is basically measuring the historical weight of each support or resistance zone. So basically based on the orders that have been placed there in the past. And so what we've actually done, and what you can see are the large mountains of the VVPR, these yellow mountains, that's where a lot of historical trading volume has occurred. And hence, if you're below one of those mountains, it acts as resistance. And hence, if you're above one of those mountains, it acts as support because it's a zone in which there is demand or is there supply. That's all it is. And so now what we're doing really is we're dropping below this massive mountainous range between 38k and 30k. And what this means is that this entire range is now being flipped for resistance. And so it seems incredibly unlikely at this point, and it would be very, very difficult for Bitcoin to break above this range again, seeing as we're so far down below it at this point. And one way you can conceptualize the VVPR, the volume profile, is in a way of hills and valleys, right? If you're in a valley looking up a hill, it's going to be very hard to get up there. It's going to be tiring. You're going to go take a slow, pretty long time. If you're running downwards and you're at top of the hill, you're running downwards into the valley, it's going to be very fast. And right now we are doing just that. We're running downwards into the valley, and that's why we're dropping with quite haste here, and we can expect that haste to continue until the nearest support zone. And so where is the nearest support zone? Well, we've got the 200-week SMA, and that's based on the 4-year cycle theory, which we're going to look at in a second. But more importantly as well, we have horizontal support, but we don't have much of it. I mean, that's the thing. Because if you're thinking about how Bitcoin's moved since 2021, well, in reality, we've basically had no historical price region at all between 20K, which is the 2017 high, and 28.6K, right? This whole region between these two red lines here, there's nothing there. You know, we were only there for a month in 2020 in the run-up. And so just like what we said in the volume profile, support and resistance, it takes time to build support and resistance. If you're just zooming up past price points, you're not going to have any support there when you come back down. And so we really don't have much support, and that's why this drop could get very ugly. But what we do have, the one support zone we do have, really, I mean, other than 20K, which is the 2017 high, and also this area of consolidation here in December 2020, we do have this region here just below 24K, right? I just labeled it out there. It's that red line. In fact, just for the sake of making this analysis very clear, I'm going to make it orange, okay? It's the orange line there. You know, matter of fact, let's actually make it a completely different, let's make it pink, right? Pink line. That is the nearest horizontal support zone we have on Bitcoin. And so, given the fact that we have no support and we've just lost a support region, we're ranging into a next support. And so we have to assume that Bitcoin's going to go down to that support zone. Now, it is worth noting that that support zone at 23.8K will be bolstered by the 200-week SMA, which is rapidly converging towards it. However, it's probably not going to get there until September. I mean, if we just draw the general trajectory of a 200-week SMA at this point, yeah, it's not going to get there till September. And so we could see, in my opinion, as per what, you know, basically a lot of people are suggesting, is we'll see a drop downwards, something like that, and then we might wick down to the 200, consolidate for ages until the 200 gets there, and then maybe do something like that and come back into a bull market. You know, honestly, who knows? The thing with that is that we're predicting a November bottom with the 4-year cycle. So it's one of those things right now. All right, and people hate hearing this because they're very, you know, people in cryptocurrency, people in investing, in trading, they're very orderly people in terms of personality. They want to know exactly what's going on. They want to know exactly how to react when we get there. And then they want to know whether they're going to make money or not. They're very orderly. Their thought processes are very ordered, right? They're not in kind of havoc, you know, like some people would be, right? And so when you tell someone who's in cryptocurrency, who's in investing, you know, we don't really know what's going to happen. We have to be more reactionary rather than kind of plan it out and we know exactly what's going on. They get kind of irritated by that. But what you need to do is change your thought process a little bit and understand that, you know, it's either you adapt and you become a reactionary market participant or you lose money. And that's the bottom line of it, isn't it? So now that we know that, now that we know that support line is at 23.8K, what can we do to, you know, we know we're going to go there most likely. I mean, it's the nearest support zone. How do we know whether that's going to be the bottom or not? Is that the bottom? Who knows, right? So diving into it, you know, in the hourly chart, where we can see pretty clearly breakdown below support, and this is just confirming the breakdown has occurred, and so we are ranging towards 23.8K at this point. And you know, we've wicked up twice and rejected from 28.6K, so we have had a resistance support flip, very bearish. We're also forming a bear flag formation. Bad movement there. But the 4-year cycle, and this is where you start to get into where is the macro bottom. If we're dropping more, where are we going to bottom out? You know, eventually we have to. Where is it going to be? And so the 4-year cycle is a date range cycle. As you can see in these color-coded sentences here, generally speaking, we have 1,400 days from top to top and bottom to bottom, and 400 days from top to bottom, and then 1,064 days from bottom to top. Using that trend and applying it throughout the entire price history of Bitcoin ever since the first halving, we can see there is a very clear pattern, and that pattern, which is the 4-year cycle theory, is suggesting that Bitcoin will bottom out around November, probably between October and December, right? And so this begs the question, right? Seeing as we're dropping down right now below the major support zone, and we're trending downwards very rapidly before 200-week SMA, and seeing as it's logical to assume we're going to reach for 200-week SMA sooner rather than later, right? It might actually lead us to believe that the bottom, which is not due for another 5 months, might be lower than the 200-week SMA. Because think about it. You know, 4-year cycle is estimating the bottom's going to be in November. We're probably going to reach for 200-week SMA within the next month, right? Probably sooner, to be honest. That's not November. You know, that's July. And so maybe the 4-year cycle theory is telling us that, hey, the 200-week SMA this time is not going to be the macro bottom. In fact, the macro bottom is going to be lower. The macro bottom is going to be at 20K. like the 2017 bull market high, or maybe even 14k, like these support zones we were forming here in the bear market. Maybe even it's all the way down here at 14k, or maybe even 12k. Very, very hard to say, but there is a really strong argument to be made at this point that the the bear market might bottom out lower than the Toronto Week SMA. And just to clarify here, just so you guys know who I am, right? I've been saying Bitcoin's going to go down to the 200-week SMA since 63k. I've been bearish in the market since the 60k region, right? One of the first in the entire market to flip bearish. One of the first in the entire market. And so for me to say, hey guys, maybe there's a chance Bitcoin goes below the 200-week SMA, it's a pretty big deal, because that's what I've been saying the whole time. I've been saying Bitcoin's going to go to the 200-week SMA. And yeah, I still believe that. I still believe it's going to go there. I'm just not 100% sure whether it's going to bottom there anymore. But honestly, I'm not going to make any predictions because I simply do not know. It's impossible to know whether it's going to drop below the 200-week SMA. Why? Because we've never done it. We've never dropped below it before. And so how can I predict something like that? It's like, well, yeah, we've got a unique macro environment. Okay, fine. We're in a bear market, on the traditional markets, first time in Bitcoin's price history. But, what does that mean? How do we know how Bitcoin's going to react to that? We don't. We simply do not know. And so, at this point, to me, at least, it seems like it's impossible to tell where Bitcoin's going to bottom out, right? I don't know where it's going to bottom out. I do know that it's going to be around November, right? Q4 this year. I do know that. I don't know where it's going to be though. And so given that and applying that knowledge, I think it's kind of stupid to just buy in Bitcoin on the 200-week SMA brainlessly as soon as it gets there. If we touch the 200-week SMA, and you buy in, you put your whole life savings in Bitcoin, just because it's bottomed out there in the past, who's to say it won't drop below that? We don't know. We're in a macro bear market and we're traditional markets. Who knows what's going to happen here? And so my advice to you at this point would be, let's wait and see. We need more evidence. We need more clarity. We can't make such a decision right now. It's simply impossible. So let's wait and see what happens. Who knows? But moving forward a bit more, and this is what we talked about yesterday, by the way, before the drop. And yesterday, by the way, in yesterday's video, now I know some people would be a bit confused by me saying this, but I said in previous videos I made last week, we're probably going to see a dead cat bounce. It's more likely. At that point, that was the case. But in yesterday's video, I retracted those claims. I actually said it's 50-50. I don't know what's going to happen. I didn't feel comfortable sticking by such a claim. And you'll notice that the entire time in this range, in this horizontal range, I said, doesn't matter what I say, you shouldn't be making any decisions on the market until we break out or break down. And we've broken down now. And so you shouldn't have lost any money there. If you were actually abiding by the TA, you need to wait for confirmed breakouts. That's what we've seen now. And that's what we're going to be seeing upon the weekly candle close. It'll be interesting to see how this weekly candle close goes, to be honest, because it is a weekend, and weekend breakouts are a little bit unreliable. So I don't know. Let's see. I think it's a breakdown. I think it's a confirmed breakdown. We've seen resistance support flips in the shorter time frame, but maybe we just get scammed here and it goes back up. I think it's unlikely though. But what we saw on the hash ribbons, which is basically a chart that kind of uses TA and combines it with the hash rate in Bitcoin mining, is that we saw a sell signal. This gray circle here, right? The gray circle. We saw that sell signal. The only other times we've seen that sell signal, or not the only other times, but one of the major other times we've seen the sell signal is actually in 2014, just before a 50% correction, right? This green line. And also in 2018, just before a 50% correction again. And then, of course, we've seen it here just before potentially a 50% correction. And what you'll note is that a 50% correction, that's not going to take us to the 200-week SMA, right? That's going to take us to 14K. So, who knows here? We could go a lot lower than 200-week SMA. I just simply can't. I think that anyone who tries to tell you a price target is just not really, either they're vastly speculating or they're not really telling you the truth. Because to me, as an experienced analyst, as a full-time trader, I can tell you right now, there's not enough evidence for us to know where the bottom's going to be. So that's my opinion. There's just not enough evidence. But, moving on, Ethereum's broken down as well. In fact, Ethereum's taken a massive, massive tumble. It's fallen below 1,700, which is its major support zone. It's all the way down at 1,500, and its next target is 1,300. And then the total cryptocurrency market cap, similarly, has broken down massively below the major the whole entire bull market support. I can't actually overstate how major the last day's price action has been. We've lost an 18 months long support zone. Crazy stuff. Big movements in the market now. 18 month support zone lost on all the charts. Ethereum, total cryptocurrency market cap, and Bitcoin. 18 month support zone. Bang. Gone. Doesn't exist anymore. Crazy stuff, guys. And then Bitcoin dominance as well. has broken out to the upside. Obviously, Bitcoin has held up a lot better in this drop than Ethereum and altcoins, and this is what I've been saying for months, right? You shouldn't be hiding in altcoins during a bear market. I guarantee you 90% of them will die. They're already dying, right? Altcoins are down 90%, collectively 90%, 80, 90%. To say that altcoins aren't dead is just ridiculous. I don't know what you're judging it off. And, just be safe, guys. Realistically, you should have been out of altcoins months ago at this point. You're very, very late to the party if you're still holding altcoins. And at this point, it's even high risk to make any decisions with your altcoins because they're down so much that who even knows at this point. I don't even know what I'd be doing if I was holding a 90% down altcoin because it's so far down that, like, what's the point of selling? You've completely missed the boat. But yeah, we've broken out of a major structure on the Bitcoin dominance chart, and the next major resistance zone on Bitcoin dominance is about 0.5% away. And so who knows? That's the local range I'm referring to, right? So who knows? This red line, we could get rejected. We could see a bit of a rally in alts for a week, and then it'll just go back to the death bed, basically. But it's not looking good for Bitcoin dominance. It's not looking good for any of the charts right now, and especially the traditional markets. We looked at it a lot yesterday. With bond yields increasing so rapidly, we can see that more interest rates are on the way in the future. And this breakdown is just becoming more and more evident as we fall down towards 28K here. It's pretty clear that this breakdown has very much occurred, and it's not looking good for Bitcoin at this point. That's essentially the video. I want to talk about tomorrow a bit more extensively, going into that potential bear market bottom. Again, I don't think there's enough evidence at this point. Maybe I can look through the charts a bit tonight and today and just try and really work out to the best of my ability where the most likely bottom will be, at least. I think at this point, going under the premise of invest with the trend until it ends, you have to assume a 200-week SMA will be the bottom. But again, I don't think that's enough evidence for you to just buy at Bitcoin at the 200-week SMA the first time we touch it. What you guys will remember, right, and this is something that's worth pointing out, when we go to the 200-week SMA, when we bottom out on Bitcoin in the bear market, you don't have to make a decision in like one day. We usually bottom out there for months. In 2015, for example, we bottomed out from January to October. We didn't move for 10 months. In 2018, it took us, about 3 months to make a move. COVID drop, even during the COVID drop, the sheer panic of the COVID drop, it took us 2 weeks. So you've got time. So don't rush into anything, wait to see how it reacts, and we can go from there. But before I end the video, if you want to learn how to do TA like me, if you want to learn how to predict 63K tops when everyone's bullish in the market, calling for 100K like me, and Mega World Crypto as well, who's one of the other people who did that, become a trader, 10-unit course, Crypto Academy. Go to the website, pin comment below. You can see all the details here. We've got a description of it. We've got unit topics, which is everything from market patterns to technical indicators. Everything you can imagine. Chuck us an email here at Crypto Academy, cryptoacademycourses@gmail.com, and we'll send you all the payment information and also what the course looks like, the format, everything you need to know about it. Highly recommend you check this out. We've got over 50 students now. Actually, I think maybe even 70, I don't know, something like that. And crazy amount of good feedback coming through. So check it out, guys. And then BitGet Exchange. If you want to learn, so for example, the trades I was showing you before, the V.I.P trades in Sand and Atom, those were short trades, right? So 1x leverage short trades. And so you'll actually imagine as well, some people don't use 1x leverage, they use 10x leverage. And so I showed you 26% profit, that could be 260% profit. It's all up to the person how much risk they want to take. But essentially we use BitGet for futures, lowest futures fees in the game, especially when you're contributing with the native token on BitGet, which is BGB, and lower than Binance. It's also got no KYC, which means you can use it from any kind of country, right? I use it from Australia. Futures is actually available in Australia on BitGet, which is insane because Binance has actually banned futures in Australia due to regulation. So it's one of the exchanges that you're going to get around some of the regulation. You're going to be able to use no KYC. You don't have to link your identity to the platform. And also you can get extremely low fees with some futures pairs that aren't available on other exchanges. I highly recommend you check out this exchange using my referral link in the description below. It also helps out the channel quite a bit. It literally takes like a minute to sign up. So go ahead and do that. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.